and get to watch the Shanshi robbery incident as covered by our journalist. Now, Maxwell Agba talks about what happened.
It's Ghana, Pana. Hey, Ghana, dear. It's Ghana, Pana.
According to eyewitnesses, the two suspected armed men were sitting here waiting to be picked up by their colleagues. We are told that unknown to them, a plainclothes policeman was also here with them. Just when their colleague pulled up in a Toyota Corolla vehicle to pick them up from this bus stop, the plainclothes police officer, we are told, got up and they realized that he had a gun on him. We're told that a man who had a gun on them tried shooting the plainclothes police officer, but he was fast and shot them first. The first suspected armed robber, we are told, fell down here. His blood still splattered on the pavement covered with sand. The second armed man, we are told, tried escaping from the scene, but he was also shot by the plainclothes police officer. The eyewitnesses tell us that the third person also tried bolting from the scene, but he was also shot. We can now hear from some of the eyewitnesses.
Two robbers were sitting here. One was over here and one was here. And there was one CID man sitting in between them. Yeah. But they didn't know he was a CID man. They didn't know. So they were waiting for a car. I think it was one of their colleagues who was coming to pick them up. Yeah. When the car came, there was gun inside. Okay. So when the car came, the guy stood up going to where the car is. So the CID man too also stood up. Then they realized that the guy is a CID man having a pistol on him. Yeah. So they decided to pull a gun, and he also looked very smart and quick, and he shot them. Okay. I mean, before the other CID guys too came and rushed the other two guys and shot them. Okay. So they killed three guys. The robber tried pulling a gun to shoot him, okay, because he realized that this man is a CID man. Okay. So he shot him here. If you can see the blood here, okay, he shot him here. He died right here. Yeah, he died right here. Okay. So the second guy was running away. Okay. Then he shot him where the bag is. Okay. He shot him there. Then there was another CID man. He rolled the third person and shot him there. Okay. And they arrested two guys. Okay. For them, they never had gun on them, so I thought that was the reason why they decided to arrest them.
I was at the back. I was eating at the chow bar. Then I heard a gunshot. Okay. Like 4 times. Okay. But then I was afraid to come out. So I decided to finish my food and come out. Okay. So as I came out, I saw a crowd gathered at the roadside. So I decided to go and check what is going on. Okay. When I got there, I saw 3 dead bodies. Okay. Now I was told they were suspected armed robbers being gunned down. Okay. Then the police chased the other group. So they got 2 additional suspected armed robbers. Okay. Then they were not dead. Then the police vehicle came around, so they took the body. Then the one that they arrested away.
According to police, this was the vehicle the men used for the robbery. Police officers from the Accra region police command tell us that they were able to retrieve a pistol, foreign currencies, and then ammunition from the men. Acting Director General of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Furi, has been giving us more details about the incident which happened on Monday morning.
The Accra Regional Police Command conducted a special intelligence-led operations that led to the death of 3 persons, namely Akika Christian Robert, one Al Hassan, a hitman, and one other Alaji, known as Alaji within the criminal realm. They targeted a businessman to rob him of his money after taking it from a bank near the airport. The police quickly moved into control over the situation. They decided to shoot at the police, and the police exchanged fire with them. Fortunately for the police, they had 3. 2 others were also arrested. Pistols were discovered on them. The pistols were fully loaded, meant to cause harm, death, and injury. As I speak to you, we've taken them to the police morgue for preservation, awaiting autopsy and report. Police would like to warn here that they are determined to get rid of street robberies. They are determined to get rid of bank robberies, residential robberies, as well as highway robberies throughout the country, and that those involved better stop or they will face the full wrath of the police.
It's Ghana, Ghana, here.
Management understanding is that there are some technical problems with these meters and the conductors. It is the reason why they are unable to use them, but they've not gotten them replaced since 2016.
Since 2016?
Yes, they still have them in their stores, kept and waiting, whilst people, Ghanaians, consistently ask for meters. Some have to pay monies for meters and all of that. Of course, I recently got a meter change. I didn't pay anything, but I really think that this should be dealt with appropriately. We have about 6 or so meter producing companies in this country. We should know which one is doing this and whether they have to replace them quickly, because it doesn't make sense. There are other losses that are in the report, though.
How many again?
59.1 million meters. Yes, just sitting there because they say they cannot use them. Some of them, installation had problems, so they abandoned all of them. That's the Electricity Company of Ghana, and that's the big story on the front page of the Finder.
And nobody is going to be held accountable for
this is the Republic of Ghana. You would have heard a lot about it. This was in the Auditor General's report anyway, so the Finder is calling from the Auditor General's report. Right. And the call is for them to make sure that the right thing is done. But it won't be done until somebody gets in charge. So the Energy Minister today should be issuing specific directives on how this will be dealt with if we were functioning properly. But, well, this is the Republic of Ghana. Now, Pastor Mensah Otabil urges you to accelerate Africa's development. There's one from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission which is urging the University Teachers Association of Ghana to respect agreement ending dollarization of salaries in 2011. so they say that we agreed barely 10 years ago that as for pegging your salary against the dollar, we have stopped. Because clearly the state says we don't do dollarization, even though we do it in our minds and implement it. Like the way, how many times haven't you seen people selling these luxury homes?
Yes.
And it's
In
all
dollars,
pegged.
yeah.
Yes, they're
Pegged in
boldly,
dollars,
they're
yeah.
boldly in dollars, contrary to law, but it's done nicely. Anyway, but,
Turn a blind eye to the things that we should be paying
that's very
attention to.
true. Anyway, so those are the stories on the front page of the Finder this morning.
Well, speaking of the university teachers, they said we won't go back to the classroom. UTAG defies NLC order and has a picture of Professor Charles Ofosumafo. I beg your pardon. This is the Ghanaian Times that I'm reading.
Yeah.
So on the front page, we have Professor Charles Ofosumafo. Then Ghana Health Service to deploy single-dose vaccines to COVID-19 hotspots. We spoke to Dr. Chianu yesterday, and he indicated so. Also, President Akufo-Addo pleads for endorsement of MMDC nominees after broader consultation. That story is on page 16. On the back page, roads in mining communities to receive a facelift, and that is according to the coordinator of the Mining Sector Roads Rehabilitation Secretariat. And NGO educates Upper East Region adolescents about reproductive health. That's the Ghanaian Times for you.
And the Daily Guide this morning says, Prunk chief claps for Nana Starch Factory. NPP's champion for social interventions, that's according to John Boedu. And Akufo-Addo is not happy with NPP in the Bono East region because they used to control 5 seats. The NDC had 4. But at the end of the 2020 elections, the NDC now has 6. The NPP has 3. And so he's unhappy about that. And NDC lied about Kufuor $5 million bribe. Alote Jacobs spills beans. And according to the story, Alote Jacobs has actually gone ahead to confess to the Pope. And he says that's the reason he's still alive today. Pope. He went to confess to the Pope.
He went to the Vatican.
And it's the reason he's still alive.
Really?
That's what Alote Jacobs says.
Well.
Okay, how about the twins?
He also said that one too.
It's not true.
It's not.
The Gizayazi twins, you know.
The friends of the truth and
Enemies of lies.
Hey, Ghana.
We have done things before.
We've done things before. But
It's almost like there's a new group that's saying fixing Ghana movement.
Yeah, there's a new group. That's its convener is Ernest Owusu Bempah. But you remember when Kufuor left office in an interview, he said, "Oh, if I had gone to have children outside, like I'll beg my wife and accept them."
Yeah.
If I did
Especially when they are Obroni children.
And talking about Obroni, you remember that one. In the interest of Ghana.
Yes, in the interest of Ghana. Anyway, let me bring you the new Crusading Guide. And it's reporting this morning that prank start factory stories on the front page too. And government revamps TVET with massive infrastructure projects, the technical vocational education, a very, very undermined section of our education, which is supposed to feed us with artisans and the very people who will move our economy in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we will get our own people to replace the Togolese, the Beninois, and sometimes the Ivorians who have captured currently the building industry in very nice ways. Anyway, but Occupy Ghana chases health minister, calls for his resignation, and they're saying that he has no excuse to remain in office. They're actually asking Parliament that for a very long time, the Supreme Court asked the people's representatives to clarify this major, what they call a business transaction deal in Article 102 or 181?
1815.
1815. Which would make it clear which of the deals are supposed to go to Parliament. But Parliament consistently has failed to do so. They reference all the cases that the Supreme Court has commented on, and yet they say Parliament is not doing the right work in this direction. But for the minister going, okay, this morning, I think we should be asking, after the transaction conversation about whether or not the money will come in, and the agreement on the other side for the money to come in, should the minister still go? If you ask me, it's almost like saying, that I broke traffic rules, I knocked down somebody because I broke the traffic rule, but I took the person to the hospital, the person is now in very good health.
Yes.
So should I be prosecuted or I shouldn't be prosecuted?
Of course you should be prosecuted. You broke the law.
That's basically the thinking around this. It should not be because we have gotten back the money. In fact, but for this conversation, I doubt we have gotten back any money anyway.
So the question is, now this is a letter by the Controller and Accountant General,
Yeah.
to the Director Banking Department, the Bank of Ghana,
Yeah.
telling them to actually, pay the 16.3 million to Sheikh Al Maktoum.
Yeah.
The letter is signed by Akwesi Kwening Bosompem, Acting Controller and Accountant General, and is copied the Health Minister.
What's the date on it?
The date is the 31st March. Copied the Honorable Deputy Ministers, Minister of Finance, the Chief Director, Ministry of Finance, Director of Budget, Ministry of Finance, Coordinating Directors, Ministry of Finance, and Director Banking, Bank of Ghana. Are we saying that Mr. Kwekwa Jimanmeni did not see this letter? He did not see this, and none of his representatives saw this? Are we saying that in the transaction, he makes a reference to the Ministry of Finance letter dated the 25th of March? Who wrote that letter?
From the Ministry of Finance.
From the Ministry of Finance.
Question for the gods.
So, now Parliament has even more work to do.
Increasingly, no, I don't think Parliament has to do any more work. They've shown that they can't deal with this properly. I actually think that the people who are into prosecution should be the ones taking this up and dealing with it properly.
Do you trust them to prosecute, to do a better job?
I think that, yes, it would happen because we saw what Parliament did with this decision or no decision kind of thing that they did. The most important part is that we should get to the bottom of this.
We'll come back to this later on the show. We'll
Anyway,
come back to this
yes.
particular issue. But yes, let's get to the
right,
Daily
sir.
Statesman.
Okay, so the Daily Statesman is the big story. Police kill 3 armed robbers and foil attempt to rob a businessman. And it has a picture of one of the alleged robbers and a picture from the scene of the shooting. And yesterday, Joy News was there on the ground, and the eyewitnesses' accounts were interesting. It was like a Rambo shootout.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like the comment from Gabi on this one, that the police have sent a very clear signal. You know the police statement they issued, the very last page. They stated that the police want to assure Ghanaians that they are determined to get rid of street, residential, and highway robberies throughout the country. And anyone who steps in their way of the police will not be spared.
Prepared to die.
Yes, okay. Gabi says the message is very clear and unambiguous on this one. Yeah. So, new IGP, new action. They are not saying that it is in heaven, even in heaven. It's only heaven that there are no crimes. They are actually acting on the ground. We see it happening too.
Okay, let's move on. And let's get to the Chronicle.
Okay.
And beloved, let's get to hear the word of God. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline. No way, you can't leave Ghana. Court halts deportation of Chinese illegal miners, over 16 million civil suits. That's on the front page. And Sputnik V report, Occupy Ghana wants health minister sacked. Family accuses police of unlawful seizure of lands, and prank Kintampo chiefs grateful to Akufo-Addo for massive projects. That's on the front page of the
economic.
Chronicles.
Okay, so I have the Economy Times, and the big story here is that IEA worried over rising debt. It has a picture of Dr. Kwache, Director of Research at the IEA, and it says that the IEA has waded into the exponential rise in the country's total public debt. According to the IEA, the government needs to explain the sharp rise in the public debt from 120.4 billion Ghana cedis in 2016 to 334.6 billion Ghana cedis by the end of June 2021. Also on the front page is ACA getting a great deal at the expense of Ghana. CSOs are asking that question. The Alliance of Civil Society Organizations working on extractive anti-corruption and good governance have raised questions on the request by the GNPC to buy stakes in 2 oil blocks at an amount of 1.65 billion. The more details in the Economy Times.
Well, we'll get into that particular conversation this morning.
It is going to be big this morning.
It's going to be a very big conversation. We'll be joined by Theo Champong, who's a petroleum economist, and he's raised his own concerns about the cost, the proposed cost. They said, well, we are now going to negotiate. The Minister of Energy and Finance have been tasked by Parliament to go and negotiate. Parliament says, let us not go beyond 1.1 billion. And others have asked the question, why is Parliament already setting a seal? Why don't you start a negotiation? And even when it comes to the valuation of it, they say that valuation looks like they're suspicious of the valuation. We'll get into all of those conversations here on the Super Morning Show. So that's on today's agenda as a must-listen conversation. The Business and Financial Times says hotels tour operators saddled with nearly 20 taxes makes Ghana an expensive tourist destination. And 100 billion Obatampa program must know no political colors. Economist says its success hinges on right institutions. And rising imports weaken city's strength against the dollar. So we've seen the city is beginning to, depreciate against the dollar. In the past, the conversation that many put out was that because of
what does our issuance calendar say? When are we going to borrow again?
I need to find out.
Yeah, because clearly that has been our solution for a while now.
That's
we
been
go
our solution for a
borrow
very long
to hinge the things small, and so we are doing very well as a people.
It looks like that. But also, yesterday we had Bob King make the case that one of the things we have done is to borrow to increase our international reserves.
Yes,
and that's also been helping us to manage.
It's almost like tickly or something laughing.
And you're laughing. That's why Professor Bob King says that's not sustainable. So. Some would say there's an artificial management of the situation. But, let's get to our online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank. In your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. An enterprise life, no matter how much you make for a living, Enterprise Life has life solutions carefully crafted for you. Enterprise Life, your advantage. And Goyle higher grade fuels have been tried, tested, proving, and accepted over the years as most suitable for all engine types, including the latest vehicles with the most modern engines. In addition to these superior qualities, Goyle higher grade fuels are further fortified with the SP3 additive multifunctional enhancer, making it more efficient, eco-friendly, and sold at no extra cost. Gold higher grade fuels come in Gold Super XP Run 95 and Diesel SP, sold in every Gold station and not just selected stations. So fill up with Gold higher grade fuels at Jibebia, Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Yediem. And my journal line this morning says Sputnik vaccine procurement Sheikh Al Maktoum agrees to refund $2,470,000 to Ghana. And Accra RESEG orders arrest and prosecution for breaches of COVID-19 protocols. Ajameni must go Ghanaian on social media call for the dismissal of the health minister. And Sputnik V vaccine procurement, every arm of government failed in this exercise. That's according to Kofi Bento. Let's get to BBC News now, brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Sefi Brothers.
We know the dream is big. We know the passion gets you going, and you have the potential to make great strides. The Chartered Institute of Marketing, Ghana, has always been an avid supporter of industry excellence and innovation. This is why we are excited to announce the CIMG Professional Marketing Qualifications. CIMG has designed practical courses to help you make that dream a reality right here in Ghana. We are geared up and ready to support you on this journey to becoming a world-class professional marketer. Register today and be on your way to greatness. For more information, call us on 055-274-6592. Visit our website www.cimghana.org or email us on info@cimghana.org. Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, working for Ghana.
This is a bank, first Atlantic.